What's good, gang? It's your boy. I'm back with another banger Overwatch video. You know what it is, reacting, well, not even reacting, making a video about Overwatch takes that have aged poorly. And this I knew is going to be one of the highest requested people on this series. And I was between him and another person who I think I'll do the next video, but I think I'm just going to do Flats now, because his is a little bit harder. He doesn't have just a video kind of like breaking down his thoughts. I'm gonna have to watch this podcast episode, this and this, as well as some other clips I might find. But I'm gonna watch around a lot of different stuff and see kind of what his thoughts were. And another thing, just to get it out of the way once again, I do like Flats. As a tank player, I can really understand why this man has suffered for so long. He's been here since Overwatch 1 was like in its worst state. He joined the game like that, like the streaming stuff, and has pretty much only played tank, which has been only getting worse and worse in my opinion. But I can see why this guy's losing his mind, and he's kind of like, I'm assuming he feels kind of trapped to Overwatch because a lot of his viewers will leave if he does anything else.
Well,
you're not gonna get your paycheck if you don't say something nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Paid actor.
The alpha was great. No, I mean, I would say, like, you know, everyone always just think like tank difference, beating the other tank. There's actually not always that's the case anymore.
Man, that's rough. Tank difference is worse than ever. Even in the low ranks now, people are constantly spamming tank diff because it's just that easy to have that happen.
Now it's actually, I noticed that, you know, everyone's individual plays was more impactful.
Man, I should just show a clip of me playing Reinhardt into Orisa. I'm actually just gonna do that. Future me, put that in right now. Because you are not impactful if you're playing certain tanks. And same with certain DPS even. It's literally just like support is super impactful. But it seems like this is a permanent... I don't see Blizzard fixing the tank problem, because how do you fix tank right now? And how do you fix support? Because if you nerf support much or too big, it's going to go back to what it was in Season 1, where everyone was complaining and was like, support sucks to play. I'm just getting dived constantly by like massive tanks with like 1500 health, or not really, like 500 health. And DPS, you can just flank and get out instantly, like with get out of jail free card. And supports back then were like, we can't do anything. But now they buff them so that they can keep the tanks. But now that means the tanks stay alive longer, and everything's alive longer. And it's just, I don't know how you're going to fix that.
It wasn't like...
But I don't want to go too hard in the balance, because unless we're talking about like for fun, I don't know what's the best for the top ranks, really.
Overwhelming tank...
I can guess, though.
Gaps or anything like that. And I mean...
And tank gaps, that is one thing that aged... I don't know why everyone said this. Literally everyone said this, too. They were like, tank gaps, they don't exist anymore. Like, if you're just good, you can win. And I was like, how is that ever gonna happen? Because like the tank gap is always gonna be there, especially now that it's a 1v1 and not just a 2v2. Like with a 2v2, you can maybe have someone else who can help you out. In a 1v1, if you're worse than the other tank, it's just over. Like, it's just over.
The game removes that extra tank because you needed so much synergy, not only between your tank line, but the rest of your team to deal with.
Once again, this is another common theme you'll see in these videos. It is the problem with these is, especially SVB's podcast. I really love SVB. I like follow him. I think I'm subbed to him on Twitch. I like SVB quite a bit. However, he is the one like Overwatch podcast, and they try so often to talk about like the casual experience. And well, well, they don't try so often. They usually just ignore the casual experience, or they just downright like say like, I don't care about the casual experience, which that's fair enough. If you don't care, I'm not saying you have to, but you should at least like keep it in mind. I think most of the time, it's so often they'll talk about it. They never, ever get somebody from the actual casual experience. And you might be like, well, there's not any casual players really who play this game, like and would be able to like have a YouTube channel and like get on the podcast. Look at someone like Master Ian Gamer. But his most recent video is amazing. It's a great deep dive into what makes tank so bad right now, and what makes 6v6 and some small points towards 6v6, and how that might help it. But he, like, that is a casual player. We never ever get that experience. Overwatch is not a fun game competitively, it's a fun game casually, in my opinion. And this is one of those things where I think a lot of this is just going to be them talking about balance for a high up, ignoring the entire lower rank, which in the lower ranks it was always deathmatch, pretty much always deathmatch, but there was still like it was like a team deathmatch type thing where it's like, okay, you're just trying to get kills, but you have a team that you can work around.
With the double tanks walking in or pushing in on you or pushing them out, that you needed that synergy.
But honestly, it being more deathmatchy doesn't really matter to me, Overwatch 2.
To push them out, like, and you're trying to push into them instead of that standstill, steady warfare that we kind of have on today's meta, or even, you know, especially if you see like double shield poke comps.
And that's what we're at now. We're back to the past, baby.
You know, there's so many dynamics that Ryan could end up sucking in 2 weeks. We don't know that. Like, people have to figure stuff out. So
Ryan just sucks. He actually just sucks right now. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't fit in Overwatch 2 like at all, because he's either gonna be super like hyper aggressive, which isn't how the majority of the game plays him, or he's gonna be super just bad, which is what he is right now. Like, when Orisa is meta, Reinhardt is horrible, and no one talks about it, but Reinhardt is absolutely horrible the second Orisa is meta. Even when she's not meta, if you just get into a fight with or you get into a game and they switch to Orisa, you just lose in the mid ranks and the like quick play experience, because everyone's just like, oh well, just dive the supports. Brother, we're playing quick play. Nobody cares what's happening to me. They all just want kills. They're just attacking whatever they feel like. And even in the low ranks, it's the same exact shit. Like, Reinhardt just sucks.
And yes, it is a little bit simpler, but in a very good and healthy way.
It's something I completely disagree with. The game is simple, so more is not less. That's a scam. People telling you more is less is actually just scammers. More is always better. Like, the depth of a game should always be deeper than you want. Like, well, not than you want, but as deep as possible, really, because it just gives more replayability. Like, I played probably damn near close to 1,000 hours of Overwatch 1, and since Overwatch 2 has come out, I've played probably 200 hours. Because I just lost a lot of the joy. Like, I don't care anymore. There's no depth at all. Like, it's just, you just play better and you win. There's nothing, like, there's no other system that you should be learning. There's no other super interesting, like, interactions. That's gone. And I will say, for sure, don't get me wrong, when there's, like, an Orisa, a Symmetra on your team, a Reinhardt, and a Sigma, and all these shields, and a Brig, and all this shit, I will say it does get annoying at a point. It's like, okay, we're going a little hard. Like, we don't need this many shields. But the thing with that is that is so fixable with balance. Like, that is so fixable. Just like you did with Orisa already, get rid of her shield. Like you did with Symmetra, you can fix that. You can change that. But you cannot change, like, formatting. Like, you can't be like, well, this, we didn't like how deep the game is, so we just made it simple. You can't make a simple game deep, but you can make a deep game simple.
Cassie doesn't just destroy, like, Doomfist or Winston or Tracer. Like, if you throw the grenade at a Tracer and you stick her, she can still recall. Like, if she has her
nope, they said fuck that. That was too good. We had to change that.
Abilities and is playing it smart, she has counterplay. There isn't, you just got flashed from Narnia, or, like, you know, you don't have to, like...
Now it auto-tracks and stops you from being able to use your movement abilities and slows you.
Blink forward, blink back, blink forward, blink
Which
back.
I would honestly say is worse than the flashbang. I know this is kind of a hot take, but I think the flashbang, when you got hit by it, you would just know you're dead.
Well, you get...
But with the magnetic grenade or whatever it's called, you can still try to escape, but you're just not, if they're good.
The game is going to be easier to watch.
True.
It's
That I can't argue with. Overwatch 2 is easier to watch, but I don't care. Like, I don't care how easy it is to watch. I want the game to be deep and fun. I don't care how easy it is to watch, because there's games like, I don't know, there's games like Baldur's Gate that are kind of hard to watch, but they still do well because they're fun and they're good. They're deep games. But like, what tank did that though? Like, what tank added so much visual clutter? Because Orisa added 1 shield, Sigma added 1 shield. Let me look. 1 characters. Like, I get the synergy is probably a little harder to understand, but that's already true for everybody else. So if we look at that, just no, why, bro, I just, like, I get it's hard to watch as a new player, but, or as a new, like, non-fan, but why do we even care? Like, why do we care that someone who doesn't play this game doesn't want to watch the esport? No one cares, or doesn't want to watch the stream, I guess, or whatever. Like, I get it's for streamers, it's nice to have it be easier to watch because then more people watch them. But if the game suffers to make it so streamers can have a better time, I think that's a bad thing.
when Valorant had its big tournament last year and was the dominating ever all over Twitch, I watched a little Valorant just because I was curious. I think that power is unbelievable, and I think Overwatch can absolutely mimic it and have something similar.
Because the Overwatch League is gone.
And that simplicity comes from their entire change. And I think you're right, Sam. I think they took a big...
But I won't lie, there's no, you can't argue that it is simpler. I just think simpler does not mean better. I think, honestly, it's worse.
Risk. The shields are not in Overwatch 2. Snipers dominate. You know what would end up happening? Is you would think that you would have...
Snipers did end up dominating. One-shot characters have dominated. Like, DPS is literally, I feel like, has only been dominated by, like, one-shot characters or super high damage characters. Like, characters like Genji are never, like, super good because of the lack of shields and the lack of, like, a stationary style of play for anybody.
have an easy shatter.
Compared to the snipers who obviously just snipe without a shield. They just one-tap headshot people and there's nothing your tank can really do about it.
No, because current day Overwatch, you have to account for if they're playing double shield, Cassidy, Hanzo, let's say Bap Brig, you have to account for the lamp. If they have lamps, even if you hit the shatter, they're not
still happening in Overwatch 2.
Not gonna die. Does Cassidy have flash if he's playing with their team? If he does, he can flash you out of it. You won't get it.
He can't flash you out of it, but he can stun you. But so we'll just say that's fine. You would be fine.
Oh, but the big one, you got to get past the two big shields.
And now in Overwatch 1, you got to get past the either two shields or the movement. They can just everyone. Oh yeah, that is the other thing. Everyone can kind of just run away, like, or jump out of the way or whatever. And there's still shields. And there's also characters who can just tank it, like Orisa, who just are like, well, that doesn't matter to me.
How do you get past the two big shields? Because they're going to break your shield.
Don't get me wrong, though, both are bad.
First, right? They break your shield first.
But also, this is a bad example, because literally, that could still be said today. Like, now, instead of that, you have to get past BAP Immortality. You have to make sure we don't use Kiriko Suzu. You have to make sure that the, like, let's just say, who's another character who can, or yeah, like all of the supports can do it actually, now that I'm really thinking about it. And then you've got probably like one or two DPS, no DPS can cancel you out of it, but they can all just kind of get out of it. And then like half the tanks can just absorb the damage, and then the other half can just literally just negate it completely. So you still have the exact same situations. That's just a cherry picking example that's really rough. Like double shield versus one Ryan shatter is definitely really bad, but it's the same exact shit as in Overwatch 2.
There's so many less CCs that when you have them, they're so much more impactful and smart to use.
And they've added a lot of those back.
You can't just use all your cooldown abilities on cooldown and just pull on cooldown like current Orisa, shield on cooldown, throw rock on cooldown, whip shot on cooldown.
You can actually, so Orisa, you could just play everything on cooldown and you'll be fine.
Everyone has so many abilities. You're never
like 99. And once again, I'm talking for the mid ranks. I don't know about the high ranks, but the mid ranks that you can
never gonna get through that line. I do want to kind of like give credit where it's due. there was a lot of very quick like changes when we played the alpha. Like they were updating like very often, you know, because honestly, this year has probably shown us more than anything else that the main focus of this game is a for-profit money-making machine. It took almost a year. Actually, no, it took over a year, or about a year, to get the cog rework that we identified as a problem in Season 1. And, you know, there's a reason why we're not going to get those things. It's, I mean...
And then they stopped doing that for anything. Now we get updates every... How much? Like 4 weeks? 5 weeks? Awesome.
That's what the point of it was, to figure out, like, where things were.
And no shop updates don't count, fuck you.
You know what I mean? Like, with the game, I don't think the devs are dumb. Contrary to popular belief, I think people are going to realize soon that they're actually not dumb.
No, they're I cannot believe that they're smart. I just can't. I can't. I don't know. I mean, they're smart just when it comes to the money. And I once again, I don't hate the devs. Devs probably have nothing to do with this, but you can't just ignore that they also make these, like, why is Orisa still this good, bro? And Bastion, why did they not get a change? 4 weeks into the season, everyone was playing them, literally everybody.
And because everyone's like, oh,
the only explanation to that is just lack of awareness, I guess.
I don't know how to balance. Well, actually,
They don't. They literally don't.
you should see this.
You see Tank right now, Flats.
In jail at this point.
Oh, what's that last video I watched? I just skipped over it.
Oh, he got swept out of it. Oh, that's so mean.
Dude,
This is why Reinhardt players are going extinct.
I'm excited. I'm
I
excited.
found the original video, so I'm gonna use this
Flats,
now.
redefining
And another
the
one.
sequel, minus the BR.
There's still gonna be people that go, we waited 3 years for an update. It's still gonna happen, no matter what. They can do so much more now than they used to be able to with like their old Overwatch engine and stuff like that. And so,
Ah, yes, the very unique and new things they're doing in Overwatch 2, like adding the shop. Very cool.
I don't know if I want to use the word defining the sequel yet.
They are not defining a sequel, bro. They are defining how to not make a sequel.
It definitely is a sequel, but
No. See, I feel bad for some of these because, like, I like Flats, like I said, and a lot of this is literally he just it was on copium, I think.
that they're struggling on their messages quite a bit. But like they've never talked before, so like you kind of got to give them a little bit of that. It's like,
Except for all those Jeff Kaplan, like, talks that we would have, all the game balance ones. He talked there. I know it's not exactly the same, but we talked.
they're learning.
What is up, everyone? This is Jeff from the Overwatch team. My name is Jeff. I'm one of the guys with the Overwatch team. This is Jeff. I'm one of the guys from the Overwatch team.
How to communicate.
I honestly feel like he talked, like, better. I think I just like Jeff Kaplan more than I like Aaron and the rest of them, though, because they come off like really like a company now. Back when Jeff Kaplan made it seem like less of that. I don't
Because
know
they've
how.
never done it. They don't want there to be like an always counter-picking meta. They want every hero to have its own like niche but be good. And
Oh my god. I just drank a huge drink of water. I heard that and I almost spit it all over.
then they
Jesus.
released Junker Queen and Kiriko.
Hey,
First
wait,
off,
he brought it up.
I saw Metro's tier list. This game's like Apex. You're getting a
There it
heirloom
goes.
for like minimum like $200, maximum $500, and you're getting the top tier stuff from Overwatch in the Battle Pass. It's a trade-off at that point, you know, like
The top tier stuff. The top tier stuff. Bro, the top tier stuff is literally one skin.
well, let's talk about how the actual $60 value in video games has worked for the last 15
boy.
to 20 years. When you buy a game
Yep.
with a one-time price.
Yep.
And this is games especially that are like single-player games.
Yep.
You get everything that's in the game,
Like Ghost of
polished, finished.
Tsushima.
That's it. There's very few changes beyond that. If you
True.
want something beyond that, it's typically sold as DLC content. So if Overwatch was following a true to traditional $60 box model, you should have been paying for heroes like Ana, Doomfist, Baptiste, everything that came out after that. But Overwatch gave it to you for free.
Notice how he's talking about single player games though. Now let's go look at, I don't know, any other multiplayer game that you paid for. Multiplayer games. And this has kind of changed. No, not really. Rocket League. You pay for new cars. That's it. You get all the new gameplay updates. Team Fortress 2. You pay for skins. You get all the new gameplay updates. Fortnite. You pay for skins, but you get all the new gameplay updates. Apex Legends. You pay for skins, but you get all the new game updates. Counter-Strike. You pay for skins, but you get all the new game updates. All of Fall Guys, you pay for skins, but you get all the new game updates. You see what I'm saying? All of these, Among Us, you pay for maybe a new map. I don't even think you did though. I think you got all the maps for free. You pay for cosmetics. Multiplayer is different from single player. And also single player, the whole new thing you're adding isn't just like one character. The whole new thing you're adding in single player, like let's look at for the best example for me, Ghost of Tsushima, the Director's Edition is fucking great. So Ghost of Tsushima initially, amazing game. Director's Cut adds a whole nother island that's like a whole third of the first game. A whole nother story that I would say is, once again, like about a third of the whole game. And not only that, you get some new weapons, you get some new skins, you get a bunch of a new like area to explore, you get all of that. In Overwatch, you get, okay, you're either getting a new map, which it doesn't really impact that much, or a new skin, or not a new, or a new character, which is big, but not that big. And I think that's a terrible argument. I talked about it in my last video. It's a super bad argument to be. First of all, it's just a bad argument to compare single player to multiplayer. They're completely different, like completely different. And the single player is way less like a lot of single player games, you get every single skin for free, literally everything. So there is no cosmetics that you're buying. But in multiplayer games, you're usually buying the cosmetics, but you get every single gameplay thing for free. They're like inverses of each other. And arguing that, oh, well, in old games, you would pay for the DLC. This isn't an old game, bro. We're playing a multiplayer game. Like, we're playing a multiplayer shooter game. You should get all the features if you pay for it initially or play it for free.
Because it was going off this loot box. Like, oh, like, you know, I just want to pay for what's in it. Okay, well then you shouldn't expect any extra content for free. You should be paying for that extra content.
No, because every other game does this where you get it for free. I just went through the list of every single multiplayer game where you get all the new stuff for free. Some of them you have like new maps, but they don't like mean, like Rocket League, I think you can maybe pay for new maps, but they don't affect anything. That's just cosmetic. Apex, once again, just cosmetic. I know technically you can buy the heroes, but you can earn them for free very, very easily. Which Apex is kind of the same as Overwatch in this situation. I'm not super deep into this, but I just hate this argument so much, but I have to. Cause and people, SVB, once again, I really like this stuff, but he would always compare like how is the PVE to like God of War, and it's like, brother, you are comparing the wrong thing, bro. Like you need to be comparing like Fortnite PVE to the Overwatch PVE. These are not the same things.
The old game heroes, and a few ones that are included as like a, hey, we made you wait, this is what's in the new one. And everything beyond that, you can either grind for in-game or pay for. That is how the free-to-play model works. That's how it makes money. So
not for some games though. For some games it's skins. Like Fortnite, it is literally only skins. And that is the best example of a free-to-play game because it makes the most money. Like,
getting failed in Overwatch 1. That's why we're in the problem we're in. And 2, it just is worse because what
I will say, watching this podcast convinced me that these people don't play anything other than Overwatch. I love a lot of the people in the Overwatch community, but it seems like they don't play anything else. It's like, dude, if you played any other game, you'd realize the argument you're making is fucking insane, like actual lunacy.
What you do by removing that paywall is you open your game up to not only thousands, but millions or potentially even billions of people.
I don't think people have a problem with the free-to-play model. They just have a problem with locking gameplay behind it, which, yeah, that's really fair. Like, if they just charged for skins, I think a lot of this hate would have just been completely nothing. There would have been no hate at all towards it, really. It would have been like, okay, I'm kind of upset I can't earn anything, but, like, whatever, I guess at least we get everything for free, like the maps and heroes. And it also doesn't make sense, why don't we have to pay for the new maps? Why do we get the new heroes, but why don't we get the new heroes, but we do get the new maps? That doesn't make any sense.
So a game like Overwatch,
I'm not advocating for you to start charging for maps though, Blizzard. If you do that, I will actually quit.
History of gaming, and people loved it, and they let it die because there were some bad decisions that were made. Those decisions are being fixed, and we're catching up to the rest of the industry, and people don't want to adapt, and they're gonna get left behind.
No, not at all, actually. I get what you're trying to say, but no. The people who still didn't want to pay for this just didn't, and they just played other games that actually priced their things fairly, in their opinion. It's not like they got left behind, they just went somewhere else. And now Overwatch 2 in general is being left behind in the gaming industry. Let's look at Steam charts again, really quick. What do we think it's at today? I checked this like 3 days ago or something. I'm going to say it's similar to 18,000 like it was. 13,000. Very cool, yeah, for sure.
And that's
Overwatch 2 is not getting left behind though. We're not getting left behind. That wouldn't happen.
okay. Prices. But yet, because we're already used to zero, now it's greed. And it's like, dude, I don't know how to explain this to you.
I mean, how do you explain it's not greed though? It is greed. Like at its core, it's not super greedy, but it is greed. Like you could kept giving the characters out for free. Like Fortnite gives new updates out every single like 2 weeks or whatever. You can keep doing that. You didn't have to start charging for the characters in the battle pass. It's not like you had to do that to keep up the price. I think if you want a lot of money, yeah, probably. But you didn't have to do that. So it is greed. Like, let me look up the definition of greed really quick. Full Metal Alchemist taught me one thing. It's that greed may not be good, but intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power. Yeah. They want money. Yeah. There's no arguing with that.
But, like, it's not. That the main focus of this game is a for-profit money-making machine. You know, it's like, oh, but they're farming billions of dollars. And it's like, dude, the company costs billions, like, it costs a lot of money to run, and that game is going to make a big jump.
So, future me here. I didn't record anything about this point, but I kind of want to talk about it. So, this, like, whole thing of, like, well, it costs a lot to make these games. Bro, it costs a lot to make every single game. Like, right now, like, look at the price for GTA 5. It was, like, 120 million or something. That's absurd. Just to make one game. And guess what? They made it back easily, and they didn't, at the beginning, have necessarily super invasive money spending in-game. It definitely was still bad, but it wasn't nearly to what it felt like in Overwatch, where they're just actually, like, nickel and diming you. And, like, another example is, like, let's say a small multiplayer game. I would say some small multiplayer games have better updates and changes than Overwatch 2, which is a massive game. Like, if it costs so much to keep running this game, then I feel like something has gone awry. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And there's all of these other, like, single player games that launch for $70. They don't have any DLC, like The Last of Us Part 2, as much as I'm not a big fan of that game. It launches, they don't really add any DLC, but it's still an extremely successful game that makes them lots and lots of money, and they don't need to do anything predatory to keep going. In fact, they can keep going by just making Last of Us games. And on that last point, yeah, I know that The Last of Us, technically, they don't have to keep up a server or anything, but it's not like the server cost is going to be that extreme. Like, or why is TF2 still able to function if you so desperately need so much money to make so much content? It just doesn't make sense. It's just a bad excuse, to be honest.
God, like, have a little perspective here, because, like, it's already lower than everyone else around us, and everyone else is already cool with that. Like, why is everyone kicking that one? Why? Because it's the easy one to kick. Because it's the one that's been the most easy to kick recently. Nobody goes over and kicks Apex Legends. Apex Legends kicks you back. Like, dude, and it's like
people should talk on Apex Legends for that as well, especially near the beginning. And same with Valorant. Everyone has shit talked that. That still happens. This is just not liked in the community, which
have
makes
different
sense.
perspectives.
Why would you want to pay for gameplay that isn't a multiplayer game? That's like the whole thing with free-to-play multiplayer games is you're supposed to have all the gameplay for free usually.
Of things, because like
I think they just needed to. You either needed to only charge for new characters, charge like $5 for each new character or something, and have them release more frequently, and have a lot of cosmetics be completely free to earn, or just only pay for cosmetics and have all the new characters free. And I think a lot less people would have cared.
I think the Overwatch community be one of the first ones that calls it out. It's like, this is a little suspicious. Like, you guys are trying to farm this now all of a sudden.
Literally every community will say that though. Like, if Rocket League just started being like, actually, if you buy this car, it has a slightly bigger hitbox, literally everyone would be like, what the fuck, Rocket League? What are you doing? Like, that's just gaming in general. That's not necessarily exclusive to the Overwatch community. And I will say, honestly, I feel like a lot of the Overwatch community will just overlook bad things, to be honest. I think that is literally what this whole series is about, is they aren't always super upfront about the things that are bad. Like, I will say some people are. Like, I think Samito, a lot of the time, will say his thoughts a lot. Still, even he, though, was biased, and same with Flats, all of them.
And, of course, these couple skins, a lot more expensive because people will buy them because they're that cool. It's like, okay, well, I see what you're kind of doing there. Like, you're kind of.
So did I even call out the Mercy bundle? Then the Lifeguard Mercy, which costs more than pretty much all the other skins in a bundle. They made it like a really large bundle just specifically so that people would pay for it. Because I didn't see many people talking about that. That was pretty scummy.
You're kind of tipping on that. Like, people would.
Like, I understand you could technically go and buy it, but no one's talking about how in Overwatch you can buy all the new item shop skins, but you have to go to the hero gallery to buy them. You can't just buy it, just one part of it in the shop. You have to buy the whole bundle in the shop. No one's talking about that.
The Overwatch system wishes that Apex's battle pass was like the Overwatch battle pass. And I was like, damn, wish we saw that.
A rare Overwatch.
It's like one other game though, like that, and their battle pass. I will not lie, Apex's battle pass sucks. Like, that's a low bar. Apex battle pass and the Valorant battle pass both absolutely blow ass. Like, I'm not surprised a lot of people are like, damn, the Overwatch battle pass is better.
Good for anti-smurfing, or do you think that that's too much of a barrier for people who just genuinely want to get into it?
Oh wait, this is gonna be bad probably.
The question becomes cultures.
So just for context, this is when they made it so you had to verify a phone number to play Overwatch in general. Obviously, not everyone has a phone. Also, obviously, some people have a, what is it called? It's like a prepaid phone or something like that, where you can't use that either. And you just weren't allowed to play the game, which was a horrible decision. I don't know who the fuck cooked that up.
Around the world, and just data and what they've been doing, it's way more complicated than people just say this bad, this good. Because
no,
like something like
this bad, this very bad. Smurf problem, fair enough. But the way to fix it is not just execute it. Like that's essentially, they're going full nuclear here. They're going crazy with it. And I think that is a terrible decision. So if he's about to defend that, that's going to be wild.
Like SMS protection.
It is very simple that is a bad decision.
Very good.
SMS protection makes sense in the top 500 because it's like, okay, you're a very good player. We don't want you to smurf multiple times. Fair enough. But other than that, you should be able to play the game without needing a phone number. And I'm pretty sure they backtracked this immediately.
Per game. Like, it helps keep... it's a tough conversation to have, but I kind of like the approach they've taken. Now,
What? Huh? What? Okay, bro, that is... I can't... You literally can't defend this. That is such a bad thing. They just, like, made it so poor people can't play their game. Like, bro, what the fuck? That is never a good thing.
Part of the culture. A lot of people have made that argument. It's like, should it be limited to just ranked? And I actually think the answer is no right now. Because most casual Overwatch players play quick play. And your quick play experience will be significantly worse if that system is turned off on day one.
I cannot even believe what I'm hearing right now. This is wild. This is actually wild. I don't even remember this happening.
You can look at Warzone that used to play Warzone. They don't even touch the game anymore because they used to play during that big cheater era. That's kind of like died down since then because they've revamped their anti-cheat, but they lost a lot of their player base and they did not go back.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I understand kind of what he's saying. He's saying like, it's bad, yeah, and I don't like the SMS thing, but is essentially what he's saying. That is crazy still though. Like, that is absolutely wild to even think that. Like, for competitive, it's still kind of bad. Like, I think that's still pretty scummy and a really bad way to go about it. I think that's kind of disgusting, to be honest, to even have that. But, like, it's still even more understandable. But he's now saying you probably want it in quick play. Bro, I want to be able to play the game. I want as many people to be able to play the game as possible. Like, what about all the kids? The free-to-play move is so good so all the kids can play. They're going to have to go to their mom and dad and be like, oh, guys, I need your phone number so I can play Overwatch.
After that is a problem. Why is that a problem?
And the fix is to go full nuclear and just completely make it so a bunch of people can't play instead of literally anything else.
You kind of lose the account of bad for the people that maybe have prepaid phones. And I don't have an answer for you. I'm not that smart. I don't know the technical aspect of that. I hope there's a way we can circumvent it for you. But it's a tough question to answer. Bruh. So I don't have a strong opinion on on what they should do.
Okay, so that comment earlier, this guy who said this didn't age well, lol, and this aged extremely poorly, and Flats actually looks like a Blizzard shill. True. Actually true. I like Flats, but Jesus, yeah, what the fuck, dude?
The SMS protection, I think it's going to be great for the game, and it keeps people accountable and keeps people honest.
Whoa.
I had something to
It's the same thing without the number. It's literally the same thing. And then at the top level, it's actually worse, because now you have ranks 1 through 4.
It is kind of funny, though, that I think just all the Overwatch players, like I've said in a few videos before, are just so out of touch with like any normal person who plays this game, because they're so high up in the ranks, they play so much that the only issues that affect them are the ones that they care about, which makes sense. That's how it is with everybody. Like, the issues that affect you personally, you're obviously more invested in. Like, as a tank main, I'm way more invested in the whole tank being really bad right now than I'm sure like a support player is. That's just how it is. But it is kind of still crazy that he was like going insane about all the crazy monetization being good, although it was trash. All the phone stuff, that was insane, honestly. The first time user experience, all that, he's been going crazy about all that. But then as soon as they bring up comp, he's like, you know, I don't think they're doing a good job here. So there's good parts, but there's bad parts. It's like the whole thing has had good parts and bad parts. You were just not saying
top 500. So, gameplay wise, is it gonna be the most balanced? No. Are you gonna have fun with it?
No.
I think the answer is yes.
No.
I think that's going to be the big driver.
No.
When I pick it up and go, wow, this game kind of fun again.
It didn't stay like that. It is no longer fun. We've lost all fun.
The first week.
It was a big success on the first week.
It's going to take a while.
I remember
to get the average consumer.
Let me see. 60. And now it's just going down and down and down. We are not looking good. No bueno. The peaks are even crazier. The average, still not that good. What if I just look up, but it peaks whenever a new season comes out? What was this? Was this new season? Probably also new. But then, does that mean we didn't get a new season for like... No, I think it just means the season, whatever that was bad. Okay, well, you can see how it is. It's not exactly looking good for Overwatch, and that success did not stay. It is gone.
To trust Overwatch or to trust this game again. I think the hate clickbait articles is actually like a good indicator of that, where it's cool to just, that's the cool thing at the moment. Kick Blizzard. That's the cool thing.
It should always be the cool thing. You should always kick Blizzard. Blizzard's a piece of shit company. Let's look it up really quick. Blizzard. Go to the news. Okay, that's all gonna be Microsoft stuff. Bad company. Scandal. Diablo. Blizzard's just bad. Yeah. Blizzard just a bad company. Bobby Kotick is still the devil. Nothing can convince
Because-
me otherwise.
Unfortunately, Overwatch and Team 4 has been lumped in with the other terrible shit that's happened at Activision Blizzard, even though they had nothing to do with it. They're just part of the same company. They're a separate team. They work.
I get that. You can still shit on them. You still worked for that same company. I know that it's not the individual people's fault. Don't harass the developers themselves.
Look back at those dark days of Overwatch 1 and those pits of despair, because
We're back. We're standing at the edge of those pits of despair right now, actually. In my opinion, I think if we get a light push, a light breeze, we might fall straight back into those pits.
I don't. Chat, I'm gonna be just real with you. I'm so damn tired. I've basically been fighting for shit for this game for the last 3.5 years. Through the ups and the downs, the goods and the bads, whether people agreed with me or disagreed with me. I think I'm out of gas. I think that's it. At least there's cool shit coming in Season 6, but I'd probably see myself leaving Overwatch after Season 6. Play the campaign, play the stuff that we waited years for, play our one time, have our one last trip around the sun at that point, and then I think we head out. We head out, boys. I don't know where. I don't know what.
Remember to breathe, flats. Hang in there.
I mean, I'm breathing. I'm fine. I'm alive. I'm just more speechless than anything. It's not even like I don't even feel like the rage that Sam does. You know? I don't even feel Sam's rage. I just feel nothing.
On the bright side, this will make a great game development documentary on Netflix. Maybe we can call it Overpromised.
Oh my god! Oh.
Yeah, so once again, he seems like he's a good guy, just got a lot of... he's gone through a lot in this game. But you should hold him accountable for the things he said before, which, that was crazy, all the stuff he was saying before. And I hope he does go somewhere where he is a happier person, because clearly a lot of this, we'll see, maybe now he switches his mind and he's liking the game again. But I'm fairly certain a lot of content creators are on their last legs, like from just watching Overwatch. If Tank doesn't get fixed soon, I think a lot of Tank players are just done. And if Tank doesn't get a lot of players, and other people are going to start quitting because of time, it's on death's door, baby. And I'm going to be there for it. I'll walk it straight to the grave, baby. And that's about it. Later.